And hello, South Florida. Welcome. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show, all about the topic of real estate. My name is Eric Willner, and we are live here on our Friday here, finishing out the week. Another very, very busy week. Before we get started and with our weekend wrap up, I want to first of all say a super good real estate day to the rest of the real estate world out there listening to us, not only on our local stations, AM 1470, also on the FM dial. We got 95.3, 96.9, and 103.9. But also on our website. One of the best places to go is on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. And you can listen to our radio show live up there. All you have to do is go to the top of the page where it says the Real Estate Show. You can click on Listen Live if you're listening to us on our 8 p.m. hour. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. And starting this coming Monday, will be on at the 5 o'clock hour. So I want to invite everyone to come over and join us on our Monday launch at 5 p.m. live at 5. And we'll continue with our broadcast both at 5 and at 8 p.m. and that's Eastern time, bringing you all the information that's good for you on a topic of real estate. And here we go, October 30th. So another place that you can listen to us, by the way, is also on our Facebook page. If you have a Facebook page, then just go to The Real Estate Show and you'll see it. No spaces, no hyphens, The Real Estate Show. If you don't have a Facebook, no worry. All you have to do is still go to the internet, go to www.facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, and you'll get to see us as you hear us live each day. And for those of you on our Facebook page, you'll see today I'm half in costume for our annual Big W Halloween party. It's an annual event, and it's a lot of fun. People get all dressed up and act like kids again. So it is an adults party. Kids do come, and it's a lot of fun for all the ages. There's at that point, I think all lives matter. So anyway, as I mentioned, my name is Eric Willner. I am the host here of the Real Estate Show for the last 20 plus years. We are America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in and of course, making it so that we are expanding our show, as I said, on Monday to the 5 o'clock hour. I want to let you know, if you want to reach us, you can always call us at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. If you want to reach us and talk to us about your real estate, you can also send us a message, again, where you can also hear us at automaticlandlord.com. So this place, the Real Estate Show, now for 22 years, has been a place where real estate investors and homeowners alike come to get a lot of new information about real estate, when to buy, where to buy, what to buy, how to buy. And each day of the week, we like to talk about a different aspect of real estate from our Monday show. And in fact, I'm going to jump over and let's get right into our Monday recap of the week. Now, each week, we also set out a theme. And just to look back at a couple of the themes last week, you said, is it time for a financial pivot in your life? And is real estate the answer to that? We talked about welcome to the great accelerator, where we were talking about what's your accelerator right now. We laid out the argument why the pandemic has not been just a big stop in the economy, but it has actually accelerated a lot of things, both negative and positive. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of positives that if you position yourself, you could take advantage. So that was the week of October the 12th. And if you want to go back and listen, all of these shows are archived on our website at automaticlandlord.com. And then the week before that, we were talking about getting ready for the relaunch. And was not just relaunching it again, but also launching it in real estate. And so we had a little bit of fun playing on those words. But this week, getting serious now that we've done the pivot, we've done the relaunch, and now we're moving forward, regardless of what happens on November the 3rd for the elections, regardless of what happens in any other sort of the economy. The argument here is you've got to create your own economy, and there is no better place. I know of no better place that in good times and in bad. The Real Estate Show has been here for 22 years, guiding people through the ups and downs of real estate, through the good, bad, the good times, the bad times, the great recessions, the great booms, the great bubbles, and even now I can say, even in a relatively short period of time, in the scope of every 100 years, you get a pandemic, and we just happen to get one while we're on the air. And I think that's one more reason that people will recognize that the Real Estate Show really is a rock solid foundation. It is what we meant it to be, the simple and safe approach to income producing real estate, which of course is the automatic landlord process that we have developed over the years. It's a very simple, stress-free way to grow wealthy. It is not a get rich quick technique. It is a get rich smart technique. Now, you can accelerate it to certain parts, and that's why we talked about having a process. The reason that franchises are out there and the reason that franchises do so well is because they operate on the basis of a proven formula. The automatic landlord solution is a proven formula, and it's all about the process. And having a process is the difference many times between success and failure. And in good times, anything works well. But in the tough times, that's when you see, and that's where having a process really helps you to go through those tough times. And so we talked a little bit about the 5 biggest mistakes that many landlords make and why they often get tired and fatigued when they shouldn't have. We talked about the process of real estate and broke it down into 5 stages. And that's where we rolled into the Tuesday show. Tuesdays are typically our tools, tips, and techniques. So when Mondays, we talk more from a little bit hypothetical or theoretical, more from a manager's management point of view. Tuesday, we get into the nuts and bolts and the real nitty gritty stuff, sharing software that we use, sharing the strategies and the tactics, downright the techniques that we do, the actual thing. We hold nothing back. And that's why the Tuesdays have been a very favorite one of our shows, because it's kind of like a seminar in an episode of the radio show. Folks walk away with actionable things to do. And so what we did in the Tuesday show was break down the 5 strategies, and they go like this. Stage number 1 is to acquire the property. Now, how do you acquire the property? How do you acquire the right property? And what is the right property? Were some of the details that we got into in Tuesday's show. What we like to do, we laid out some of the parameters. We like to see that whatever we're putting down as our down payment, we want to receive likewise in equity. So if we put 5% down, we want to make sure that we're getting another 5% in equity. If we put 10% down, we're looking for another 10% in equity. So by the time we put 10% down, we've got at least 20% in equity going forward. And right there, we just doubled our down payment and beat any bank's rate of return out there by a long shot. And yes, when we put 20% down, we're buying as an investor, we're looking for an additional 20% in equity in that negotiation. So we talked a bit about that. And so the acquisition stage, which is the first stage in the automatic landlord cycle, is critical that you do it right. And if you ever have questions about that, run it by us. We said you can contact us on our toll-free number, which is 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Or better yet, go to our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com, and you can message us right there. It sends off an alert when we get a message there on our website, and it allows us to respond pretty quickly right there. So before I go into stage two, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here, a few words from our sponsors. We're going to go through the whole process right here on our Friday. We're going to hit all of the high points as we do on our Friday wrap-up, and then we'll wrap it up with a little conversation about our plans here for Halloween. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show on our pre-Halloween edition, our Friday wrap-up edition. My name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. So it should be fun taking a look at the thumbnail. I know on YouTube I can actually take the picture. I never know what's going to show up when I look at the snapshot on Facebook. But no, today is not a formal edition of the Real Estate Show. I'm not going to a black tie event, but this is stage one of Halloween. So we've got the Big W Halloween party tonight. It's an annual event, a fun event, and this is stage one of the outfit. Go out there and guess. What do you think that my outfit is going to be? This is part of it, but the rest, there's more to come that we'll be adding to it in just a little bit. But go ahead and send us a little note what you think the rest of the outfit is going to be. Could be anything, could go everywhere. Hey, Eddie Schick, look at that. Seen all the class of 81, all of my high school friends. I'm gonna get a chance to go see a whole bunch of them as well in the next coming weeks. So we're getting ready to come back now. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are in fact listening to The Real Estate Show, America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. And I'm even willing to guess that it might even be the world's longest running daily radio show about real estate. We're here, our motive and our mission here is to enable more folks to enjoy the American dream, to own a little piece of real estate. As you'll often hear me say here on the radio show, that everybody is in real estate in one form, fashion, or another. You either are in the real estate where you are the owner of a building, a house, a commercial center, or whatever the case may be, in which case you benefit from the ownership, the tax advantages, the income, and the appreciation, and all the other benefits that come with real estate. If you're not in real estate, then you're by definition on real estate, and you either are a tenant where you live, you are an employee at the place where you work, and every day your work contributes to paying that rent. Every day where you live contributes to paying a landlord some rent. And therefore you can't escape. Either you're on real estate. My suggestion and our goal here on the Real Estate Show is to show you the simple and safe approach to owning real estate. And whether you want to own your first house or whether your goal is to earn your 21st house, this is the place that makes it possible. Whether you're thinking about doing something as a secondary income or whether you're looking to replace your income, there's no better place, there's no better way than with real estate. So back to our recap of the week's 5 shows that we had this week. And remember, not only do we have our shows during the week, and in fact, let me just remind our listeners and those people who joined us after the break that the Real Estate Show on Monday kicks off its new time, its new Live at 5 edition. So we're at 8 p.m. right now where we've been, and we'll be at 5 p.m. during rush hour drive time. Hopefully I can catch a ride with a lot of you and talk to you a little bit about the benefits of real estate and why maybe real estate might be right for you. And so We talked about stage 1 before the break. Now let's get into stage 2 of the automatic landlord process. So once we've acquired the property, more than likely when someone buys a property, they're going to make some sort of improvements, whether it's to adapt it to their own taste, or whether it's to make up for deferred maintenance, whether it's to improve it. But the bottom line is that we want to make the property be at its best value. And especially what we're talking about here for the automatic landlord's purpose, we're talking about in its highest value to rent. Now, you might do certain very high-end things, put granite countertops and stainless steel appliances, and go, extra nice on things when you're going to live in the property and enjoy it yourself. When we're looking at a property from a landlord's point of view, we're looking at durability, we're looking at clean, pretty, and durable, and that's what's going to maximize the value, and especially towards what a tenant is willing to pay for. They also want these nice things, and to the extent nowadays, a lot of our properties are being improved to that level, but maybe not with some of the final finishes that somebody might do with their own. And in fact, we even encourage a lot of our tenants to, make it their own and make it comfortable for a long time. And we even offer, in many cases, the opportunity down the road that if they are good tenants and they may earn the opportunity to buy and own that property. So treat it like it was your own. But so stage 2 is to rehab and bring the property up to its highest and best value there. And then in stage 3, naturally, the automatic landlord will rent that property out. And now that they have made the property be worth its best value in tip-top shape, rented it for tip-top market value, whatever the market bears, we want to be towards the top end of that number, because the higher the revenue, the more valuable the property is, both in terms of appraisal and especially if we were to turn around and sell it as a turnkey property, which we do. So there's investors that want to buy a property that's already fixed up and rented because they don't want to be involved in stage 1 and stage 2. They want to come in at stage 3 and get a rented property. And that's where everybody kind of wins. Then, now that we've got the property at tip-top value, tip-top income, now we want to turn around and refinance the property. We had a bit of a discussion about that, whether you paid all cash for the property, whether you financed the property but paid all cash for the repairs, or whether you finance both of those things. Now that we have improved the value of the property through the acquisition stage, we talked about getting equity at the time of purchase. We talked about creating equity in stage 2 when we did the rehab. And we talked about creating equity in stage 3. Notice the commonality and the common thread here. Where else have you heard landlord mentors and coaches talk about real estate like this? And if you do things the right way, then stage 4, we're going to be able to refinance most, if not all, of our investment in that property. And now we have completed the landlord cycle. And with the money now that we have back out and available to reinvest, we can now build our portfolio and start another cycle. And that was the conversation Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, typically we have what we call our midweek report. And this is sort of a more newsy edition of the real estate show, where we actually do go out into the marketplace, looking at the headlines, looking at the articles out there that not only are current information, current events that are going on in the real estate market right now, but they are also current events that support what we're talking about. And of course, you couldn't have a landlord conversation without talking about the stimulus. You couldn't have a landlord conversation without talking about the moratorium on rental evictions and on the moratorium on foreclosures. And so the Wednesday report was a very good report, and there's plenty of information going on in the marketplace right now that the landlord, the real estate investor, and the homeowner should all be aware of, which is why the Wednesday show, remember, all of these shows up on automaticlandlord.com, are available for you to re-listen to them at your convenience, where you can just download them in the podcast version, or on the Automatic Landlord, you can go listen to them. They're in chronological order, like in a blog. Same thing with our Facebook page. You can go to the Facebook page and just go scroll down and go backwards in time for years, and I mean for years, of articles and information. There is a wealth. There is more information on our Facebook page than in most real estate courses that you'll pay tens of thousands of dollars for. And so why wouldn't you take advantage of that free resource right there at the end of your fingertips, available for you on demand 24/7, 365 days out of the year. So that takes us to our Wednesday show. I gave you just sort of a little bit of a synopsis, but you can listen to all of the detail. And what's interesting is that I often offer on the radio show that if you want a copy of my notes for the radio show, you can get those simply by texting, and those each day has a different keyword or text word for you to get that information. Now, on Thursday, which is typically our About the Money edition of the Real Estate Show, also nicknamed the ATM edition of the Real Estate Show. All of these, again, archived in those two locations, Automatic Landlord, the Facebook page. We talked about the cycle, and then we focused on the financing side of it. You know, number one, as you mentioned, as you heard, phase 4, we're talking about the refinancing cycle, which is where we want to be able to pull our investment back out and allow the property to carry its own self, its own financing. And think about that, the Automatic Landlord. If I was successful in executing those steps that I just described, put it on automatic pilot. In other words, a long-term tenant takes over and starts living in there and paying down the mortgage, in essence. That means that in 30 years from when you started, you would have a house paid for with no money invested. You would have a paid for house that is still generating income. What is the rate of return if you were getting $1,000 a month? And I'm giving you a very arbitrary and low number, but imagine if you had $1,000 a month coming in. That's $12,000 a year from one property, and that came in with no investment. What is your rate of return at that point? And I'll let you guys think about that one for a second. But now, if we did that once a year, and so every year for the next, let's say, 10 years, I bought one more house every 12 months with the same original investment amount that I started with, I would now have $12,000 a month, 12 free and clear properties at the end of the 30 years. And in fact, in 20 years from when the last time I bought the house, the first one would be now becoming free and clear. And then every year, another one would pop free and clear. Now, we haven't even talked about what kind of equity today. In fact, I saw a headline in the Miami Herald today that said that the South Florida median home price has hit an all-time high. Yes, right in the middle of a century, once a century pandemic. We have the highest all-time median home price here in South Florida, which now reached $425,000. Put that number into my scenario there. Yes, it took 30 years to have that house become free and clear. And if you had done that 30 years ago, you would have $4,250,000 in equity if you only bought the median style home price. And now we're talking about median, which means half did better, half did worse here in South Florida. So between the $12,000 a month, again, another low number. If you had a $400,000 house, odds are your rent per month is more like $2,500, not $1,000. And so now instead of $1,000 a month, you're looking at $2,500 or times 10, $25,000 a month. And now you can see, I said this was get wealthy smart, not get rich quick. But this is a very doable, methodical way of doing things. I even added in, there's an old show that we did where I made the case that if a college graduate, when he got out of school, instead of putting first, last, and security and renting a house, regardless of whether he thought he was going to stay or move, that he put 3% down, got an FHA loan, lived in that house, and once every 5 years, he saved up another 3% and moved to the next house and moved to the next house. And I wouldn't care whether that person was a school teacher, a firefighter, a graphic designer, or an astronaut. They would guaranteed be worth more than $1 million, regardless of whether they saved any money from their occupation. But every 5 years, because they acquired, and over a 40-year period there, once again, we're back to 10 properties with every 5 years, one more popping off free and clear. Every 5 years, increasing your income in retirement, not decreasing your cost of living or your standard of living. So now you can see why the About the Money edition is a very out of the box, but very wise show to listen to every Thursday. And then, of course, here we are on Friday, wrapping it all up for you in a nice, pretty bow. We hope you enjoyed the real estate show and everything that we bring to the table here. Remember, we're trying to bring you the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate in our conversation here about the automatic landlord. If you want more information about the automatic landlord system, give us a call, toll-free at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Or reach out to us on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Well, that's it for today. This is Eric Willner signing off again, reminding you to drive safe, wash those hands, and make it an automatic day. Bye-bye. You too, Ken, man. Have fun. So hopefully everybody voted. See that? I voted. I actually delivered my, I'm an annual mail-in ballot because of my travels, but I wanted to make sure that, that no wayward people dropped my ballot off in a garbage can or anything like that. So I went and delivered it, put it in the locked bin there at the vote early stations. And let me go here and so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching here on YouTube. Send us your best guess of what you think that the Halloween costume this year will be. And we're thinking of sponsoring a Halloween costume contest. What do you think about that? And we'll make that announcement tomorrow. So we'll do that as a in-between show announcement, as well as maybe talk a little bit about our upcoming week with the new shows. So anyway, that's it. Have a good night there on YouTube. Good night.